All right, this is going to be part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We will start from my guy here with the black hat, Ramu what, right? So one of the things that he said before he got to this point, he was saying to us that as a Pan-Africanist, okay, it doesn't matter what color a person is, whether black, whether white, whether Indians, whether brown, whether red, whether green, whether yellow, whatever it is color. If a criminal is a criminal, is a criminal. Okay. Now that means if somebody has committed a criminal, they don't look at the color, because they are Pan-Africanists, then because he is a black person, and then they have to just jump the law and maybe do what they just want to do because a person is a black person. Okay, if it's a white person, it's the same thing. That's how actually it should be. It doesn't matter how you categorize yourself. Pan-African, all middle, whatever it is that you categorize yourself with, okay? Whatever identity you want to put yourself. At the end of the day, if somebody has done wrong, if somebody is committing a crime, if somebody has committed a crime, the same thing must happen. The same law must apply to that person. Let's go on and let's take a listen to him. While you're doing that, please hit the like button. That will be appreciated. Let's go.
If somebody expects us to have a horrible attitude against the DA, let me just put it into context so that people understand what we're talking about. We have a problem with monopoly, which controls the economy, and that economy gets centralized in the hands of the minority, a few group of white fellows, and all of us must suck up to them. When we say white fellows, it's not because we have a problem of race. When the thief is white, we're going to say it like that. He's a white thief. When the thief is black, we'll also return the favor. That means he's a black thief. Black as we are, Pan-Africanist as we are. We're not going to be black about non-issues. Honorable Zungula, we did not chase anybody out. Every leadership from its own organization had reserved its monopoly. Everybody to respect. When you come to these caucuses and say this is what your organization would want, we must respect that. Whether what you are saying we see strategic or unstrategic, we have no thing to advise or say anything. The part that these comrades are not mentioning is that there was a advertised plan alternative to GNU. Some letters written to IEC complaining about the elections, some attempt to go to the international court. We traveled that journey. We told these newcomers very well that criticizing elections is a long marathon. If you want to take it, you need 25 million minimum, and you're going to come back with an order of the court with a few sentences. Because you criticize the IEC to the same courts. The same commissioners are appointed by the same state that is going to appoint the same judges. You take it further. You go to the international criminal courts. Who signs the agreements on behalf of the country in those international forums? The same government that is appointing these judges. Now, a group of friends is standing a queue. Yours is to keep on popping out the money. We are moving from the constitutional court. We are going to the apex court. You are dealing with the same cartel. We told them. They kept on advertising that. And we, on behalf of the PAC, as the leadership, we have a responsibility to take care of the PAC and its interests. No leader must come and tell us we are going to an international court and we must fold our hands and wait for another leader. I'm not a follower of any leader. I'm a leader of people who are inside the PAC and the society at large. So comrades are bitter at us for not taking what they wanted us to do. And we are equal participation. We had equal participation. They brought their view to the table. We brought our view. In our understanding, their view was inferior and will never see the light of day. History must prove whether we were correct or wrong. Not insults on Twitter and the ugly pageant of Figile and Madame. Very responsible leadership. The two of them are supposed to be seniors in terms of numerics. Electorally, they are the seniors, right? In terms of numbers. It is them who have got the bigger responsibility to keep the ship going. But it's them who are playing the most irresponsible spats of throwing each other with a pageant of throwing an useful English Monday to Monday, night in, night out. That is not going to take us anywhere. We are running a very sensitive environment. Everybody must bring their level of respect to somebody so that this ship can get going and our people can benefit. What are we busy with, Comrade Zungula? We know, and we are alive to the realities, very alive to the realities, that we are leftists. We are not agreeing with any of these policies that are inside this government. But there is low-hanging fruits that just need the willingness politically. Political willingness. They don't need a new law. They just need a minister with the willingness politically to do something. Now here, we are saying, we have uprooted number one. Let's tell you what we are doing. There was mediocrity happening. A gang of fools running up and down our government offices in suits. We're doing nothing while they are thinking a lot of nothing. Look at their documents, look at how much of time they've been in office and tell me what they're busy with. Now today, we are not saying we've got best ministers. We are saying to you, there is sensible talking. Inside cabinet, you can sense that we're inside cabinet. Not that gimmick that the ANC was busy with. Cabinet meetings are typed before cabinet seats. And then the lives of our people decisions are taken like that over cell phones because one leader is late, the other because they are friends of the ANC. We must fold ends, Comrade Zungola, my dear brother. Look and continue to look and continue to lie at each other and say, no, we will write a letter in Parliament, we will make a speech in Parliament. You know, we're a progressive caucus in Parliament. The electoral reality is that Madame has got a bigger say than us numerically. We must be realistic, me and you, when we speak. We must not speak as if we're the second biggest political parties, me and you. Our tone must match our electoral numbers. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Before I come back to Putuvuyo, you seem to insinuate, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the IEC, the judges, all the way up to the ICC seem to be captured, number one. Wait, before you answer. And then secondly, you know, Sukarabo spoke very well about some of the ministers in the GNU who happen to be blue. You've got a ministry as well, land reform and rural development. If you can maybe, I know it's a short time, you mentioned Brother Ibrahim Traore. If there's anything maybe that has been happening in the first 100 days with that ministry, especially because the land is such a sensitive part of the PAC's identity.
We are saying to you, anybody who has got a land claim that is on our desk, there is a pen today to sign them off. Simple as that. We don't even want to. Once somebody brings a claim, we consult. The claim is legitimate legally, and these people qualify. We don't have to waste a lot of time. The mediocre of ANC comrades of speaking a lot of English that they don't even hear themselves. National development, what. What is needed here is political willingness. Imagine in other areas, the claims are as clear as broad daylight. Somebody is bringing an affidavit that is recent. The other one is bringing the one that is longer. We just have to use logic and sense. These ones are taking chances. They've just organized an affidavit. We don't need an investigation.
Before you carry on,
yes. So hundreds and hundreds of hectares of farms are being dished out by the minister on a daily basis. Check our Facebook pages, check our Twitter. We are signing off. Our people are getting land. They in the help.
That's what I was trying to confirm. That's what I was trying to confirm. We've been getting a lot of media stories about the work Leon Schreiber has done at Home Affairs. So as you're speaking about will sign, you can say in the first 100 days, you guys can say there's a lot of land we've already signed off on.
Hundreds of millions are already out worth of rents of farms. I'm not telling you the theoretical story. Sit down tomorrow, you're a journalist, in your spare time, your journalistic skills, stretch them a little bit, go into our social media accounts, you will find us signing. We are carrying checks on those, we're not doing a lot. We are carrying paperwork, communities are clapping hands, we are signing.
Thank you. The part on the capture.
I'm gonna check that.
Very interesting part.
I'm gonna check that.
Very interesting, my dear brother.
Okay.
South Africans, we must be very realistic to ourselves.
Facebook first.
There's one thing that we're very good at. Telling a lie until we believe it ourselves.
AC.
we are good liars until we believe those lies, and then they sink in our heads and they make headlines daily. Maybe let's teach you how to capture a state. Because people behave that if we speak like this, we don't know how a state is captured. This is to capture a state. Let me give you a practical example of what's happening locally so that you can understand how a state is captured. An ANC branch will be operating there. There will be construction and many other tenders dished out. The people who are dishing those tenders out must fund that branch, right? For the branch to survive. In the long run, those business people become politicians themselves. They choose who must be chairman of the branch. They choose who must be a candidate up until they are senior leaders today. They are contesting to be president. The state does not need to be captured by some people from very far.
This is a lot.
Our own brothers. They must not tell us some Indians came here and captured the state. When they brought Indians themselves because they were looking for money to go to elections. To capture the state, you must capture the African National Congress. The African Nation. Now, if you say to me that lie we're speaking with Comrade Judge Zondo, the state is captured, is a big lie. So, if the state is captured, why is it not captured? It's part of the state. Why is this? If he can say to us the state is captured and expect to see the other side of the table, we're also going to jump and see the other side.
And actually, Zuma said it, you know. He actually said it when he was at the Zondo Commission. He did say that, guys, you are saying to me, I have captured the state. And then, because capturing the state, it means that you capture everything. You capture all three arms of state. You capture the judiciary, you capture parliament, you capture, what is the third one? Yeah, all the arms of state you capture. If you've captured all of that, it means you have captured the state. Okay? Now, obviously, guys, it's a debate. Everyone can say whatever they want to say. It's very interesting, though, that you actually hear this guy speaking like this when it comes to state capture, because a lot of people, not a lot, but unfortunately, minority of people, they see it the way it is, you know. Guys, whether we like it or not, whether we love Zuma, we hate Zuma, and all of that, it doesn't even matter. But if you are an objective person, a person who doesn't look things because you favor someone, you know, we can all see what is going on. It's a movie, it's a series, all right? We can all see what is going on. Even though you can turn a blind eye and do whatever, we can all see what is going on. And I'm not saying anything when it comes to state capture, but when you listen to people speaking at the state capture and everything, and you follow also, when you go and check what is a state capture, actually checking on what other people say in other countries, what is a state capture, you will actually realize, whatever that was happening with Zuma, it was not even close to state capture, you know. It was just guys who came in and saw Zuma, and then they took advantage of him, and they were like, you know what, we can eat here. They came in, they wanted to get hold of certain things in the mine sector or everything, and then they realized that if these guys actually take over this thing, it's going to be a problem. You know, it's going to be a problem because we are going to lose. So we have to deal with. Unfortunately, that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, at the Zondo Commission, guys, let's all agree. At the Zondo Commission, there were things that were said, which perhaps they were true. You know, because people were testifying. Those are the events that took place. But unfortunately, sometimes when these things are done, they are done by the officials at the ground. Just like what you see with Ramaphosa. There are people who have done things, you know, in the background, who did some wrong things and everything, you know. That's how it is, guys. You can try and think that you can have a clean, government, you can have a clean public service, whatever, but we all know that sometimes, even if the president is not maybe guilty on anything in terms of maybe corruption or everything, there is no signature, there is no paperwork, whatever, but there are people who are doing that, and unfortunately, it goes up to him because he's the leader of the government, okay? Now, when we look at Zuma, the only thing I believe with Zuma that was actually a problem was that thing of a pool, fire pool, whatever, and everything. Well, we all remember that there was a time when they said he must pay the money back, whatever, with the EFF. And then I think he ended up paying, if I'm not mistaken, And I know, guys, that we've got some different feelings, we've got some different emotions, but sometimes when we look at things, let us be objective, okay? Because whether you like it or not, if somebody is not, guys, and I'm going to be honest, you will forgive me on this one, né? If you are in government, there are two things you do there, right? Even if you are there, right, for a good cause, even if you are there to help people, okay? Even if you are there, maybe your intentions are good, all right? When you get there, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you do things and you do things well, people love you, people see what you are doing. Somewhere, somehow, guys, somewhere, somehow, you will want to benefit. Guys, come on. Somewhere, somehow, somewhere, you will want to benefit. Especially in South Africa. Trust me, that happens. Okay? A person will be sitting and be like, yo guys, I've done a great job here. I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. And then a person will be like, you know what? I must reward myself. That's what people do. I remember I saw a video, I think on TikTok. There was a president who was a president in one of the countries in the in Europe. He was a president. Now he is actually not suffering, but he's not having a sort of like a luxurious life. Okay, he decided to move away and stay alone somewhere. Okay, no, I think it doesn't have any luxurious thing. It just stays like any person, like a usual person. He's like staying like he's not a former president. He is happy. That's the problem. He is happy. He doesn't have a problem staying wherever he's staying. Doesn't have a problem with him as long as he can eat, as long as he can bath, he can do whatever he wants. That's okay. There are people who are like that. But trust me, it's not everyone who's like that. Other presidents, they just want to benefit. They just want to have more. They don't want to suffer, while they are living. They don't want to suffer while they are still living. They don't want to experience some sufferings there and there while you were president. Okay?
Who will remain in the state? If all of us say the state is captured and all of us stand up and say, no, the state is captured, who will remain the state? The state is not some tables and desks in those offices. It's human beings that are alive who are signing papers off on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. I'd like to give my brother Fuyo a chance. A lot of clapbacks.
I actually believe that he is right when he says the state capture, it actually happens in paper. He's right. State capture happens when you are signing, because what happens is there are signings, there are deals that are signed, there are deals that are changed, there are deals there are other contracts, ladies and gentlemen, right now that are 100 years contracts, deals that are 100 years, they still exist even today. Okay? In other words, they cannot be touched, they cannot be cut off. All right? That's how it is. Okay? It is in paper, guys. Capturing is in paper. Trust me. It's when people are signing. That is why Zuma was very smart when it comes to that part. He never signed anything because he knew that if anything happens, there's going to be problems. Yeah, I'm not putting my signature in anything of this. And then he did it the way he did it, which was very smart. It's still okay even now, and everything. Anyway, let's go on. Let's hear Zuzungula what is going to say.
Without disintegrating into a debate, I'd like to ask you, what you would prefer to see if not a GNU/Grand Coalition. And Upra Edi raised the very important part of the other side, the progressive forces. The fight to take the IEC for some type of corruption with election rigging, etc. What do you have to say about that? Because the media and many others are celebrating 100 days and there are still many people that are aggrieved. So what would you prefer to see instead of what we have currently? And to maybe for people that are interested, how far has that work gone, if at all, to date?
Look, there's nothing wrong with a grand coalition. Absolutely nothing wrong. There is something wrong when there is a coalition, but it is termed something else. Remember 1994, there was election outcomes. And in those outcomes, they said there's a threshold. Every party that is below that threshold will not be in government, meaning will not be in the executive. In 1994, there were opposing parties that hated each other. But because there was an idea to unite the country, they had to work together regardless of how different they may be. So in the context of what is happening now, you can't be subjective and say you can't work with MK and EFF for certain reasons. Because equally the PAC can say, but the DA, they've always said the DA are representing land thieves. So, thank you. It hasn't changed. Thank you. So that is why I was saying Tina is the ATM. There's nothing wrong. But tell people what you are actually doing. Do not mislead people and say it is something different. Now,
just to get in there, so you're fine on what's happening. It's just the communication to the public you have an issue with.
I'm getting there. So our view is that if you don't have a party that has an outright majority, the best thing that could happen in the country is an alignment of parties that share or have similar policies and ideologies, because that creates, number one, policy certainty, and it makes sure that the government is able to operate efficiently because there's an alignment of policies. Not have a case whereby one party now believes that the minimum wage should be lowered, the other party saying the minimum wage is right where it is. Another party saying the Bella bill is incorrect, the other party saying but the Bella bill is correct. Another party, the DA, says the president is wrong by saying Russia is an ally and a friend to South Africa, whereas the ANC, or in fact the state president of the same government that they are part of, is making those utterances. So that creates a state whereby there's not going to be stability, because there's different views which will impact now the policies on the ground that are going to impact the daily lives of our people. So our view was to say, just get parties that have got similar policies and ideologies, because it makes it easier. But once you've got opposing parties that are opposed in terms of policies, you are going to see practically when things are happening. For example, this notion that certain parties are anti-constitution for wanting to amend the constitution, it is something that we need to reject, because a constitutional amendment process is constitutional. Similarly, you had Ms. Zille of the DA saying they're not going to support the impeachment of Mr. Ramaphosa, meaning they are anti-constitution because it is constitutional. It is a constitutional process to impeach a president for violating Section 89 or in line with Section 89. So what we have here in the when it comes to the GNU is that people are making utterances based on what is making sense to them, instead of staying true to the principle. And the principle, Tina, that you are saying as the ATM, if you are talking about an idea of uniting the country, you do not have a leeway of choosing who to work with because of their policies. Because you want to unite, and it is not about Mr. Zuma, it is about the electorate. You can't on one side and you say you hate Mr. Zuma, on the other side you're saying but you want to represent the very same people who voted MK party to be in parliament. It can't be. If it is about if it's about the electorate, then it must be always about the electorate. Put aside the players that be, because you find that the DA was in support of the impeachment of Mr. Ramaphosa a few years ago. But because now they are saying, let's put the country forward, we're going to work with Mr. Ramaphosa for whatever reason, they're fine with that. But when it comes to MK and EFF, suddenly now the ball, the rules are changing. So that is not principle-based politics. If we're principle, we are going to have a state whereby there's a certain threshold. If we're saying from a party with 5 seats going up, they are going to be part of the GNU, then that is what a GNU is all about. But when you choose which parties to be with and not to be with, then